My name is Olívia Pasqualeto. I am professor of law at FGV São Paulo Law School. I'm here with Antonio Aloisi, professor from AI Law School. Aloisi is professor of European and Comparative Labor Law at AI University Law School and holds a PhD in Business and Social Law from Bocconi University. He co-authored Your Boss is an Algorithm, Artificial Intelligence and Platform Work and Labor. Antonio's research critically explores how advanced technologies are transforming workplace dynamics and examines the potential of social institutions to foster a more sustainable future of work in the European Union and beyond. In 2020, he received a Marie Curie Fellowship for his project on how algorithms influence decision-making at work. Professor Antonio Aloisi is here at FGV São Paulo Law School to teach a short-term course as part of São Paulo Law School Global Law Program. His course is on labor law and changing world of work. Thank you, Aloisi, for being here with us. And I'd like to start inviting you to tell us more about your experience here and, of course, about your course.
Thanks a lot. First of all, thanks for having me. It has been a terrific opportunity to share my research findings with a group of students that were truly engaged in a discussion. We've been focusing on some selected topics in the area of labor and digital transformation. We've been discussing the role of automation, the prospect of a world of work whereby the importance of human labor is getting more reduced because of the advent of new technologies such as generative AI, but we've also used the case study of platform work to unpack and illuminate the trends that have been first emerging in these sectors and that are now spilling beyond the realm of the so-called gig economy. The third module of the course has been dedicated to studying the role of algorithms and artificial intelligence in supporting or making decisions at the workplace level. This has been a truly fascinating exploration of topics such as the notion of employment, but also the role of the rules in the area of data protection and non-discrimination, together with the rules on dismissal. The level of engagement discussion has been the added value of this week, but I must confess that I've been working in a super welcoming environment, so I cannot thank you enough for this.
Thank you. Maybe it's one of the main issues that maybe most challenge labor law today. If you can point at least maybe the three main challenges for us, what would be?
That's a tricky question. I would say that it's undeniable to consider and to unpack the role of technologies, right? Technologies are displacing some labor law norms in several fields, precisely because the legal framework has been designed upon a different form of power, for instance, when it comes to the role of employers. So the key phenomenon reshaping labor dynamics is undeniably technology. But I would also like to add that, for instance, the green transition would represent an important challenge for labor lawyers. The rules mandated by institutions to achieve carbon neutrality are going to influence fundamentally the way in which we produce, the way in which we work, and the way in which we consume. And the third phenomenon that I would look into is also the demographic transformation of our society. As always, these three trends are strongly intertwined, and this is why we're living an era of profound excitement but also anxiety.
Yeah, and about regulation, how is your perception? Because maybe in Europe you are a kind of ahead because of the Artificial Intelligence Act, but what's your perception about the regulation? Are we evolving or not? What are the main points?
In principle, we could say that rules that have been drafted in a good manner are flexible enough to accommodate new realities. So it's not necessarily true that we need the implementation of new frameworks, new rules, precisely because of the fast-paced environment that they should be regulating. So the starting point is to adapt, to reconsider, or even to interpret in an extensive manner the already existing rules. But it's true that in some specific fields, and the example of artificial intelligence is of course pertinent, we are living a kind of acceleration, and the rules that have been implemented are a first response. The European institutions have been always trying to champion the regulation of new technologies by permeating these new rules with some kind of critical principles and values that shape the European Union. At the same time, it should not be neglected that instruments such as the AI Act mostly pursue a market-making goal. They are aspiring at creating a market for the circulation of artificial intelligence. Almost accidentally, they end up including some protection for those people that are affected by artificial intelligence, those people and those workers, in our case, that are exposed to this technology. So the patchy European framework represents a step ahead, but there are also criticalities, and the role for lawyers is precisely to interpret the rule by considering the broader circumstances in which they are taking place.
Great, and it's true that you said that some European regulation are an inspiration for all over the world. And I was thinking about that here in Brazil now we are in a timely moment because we are trying to regulate platform work, especially for drivers. There is a very known view about drivers that was a result of social dialogue process, something I believe similar that happened in Spain. So this is my reference to this inspiration, and I would like to hear your perception, maybe your opinion. What is important to consider in this regulation, or something that we don't should think at all?
That's a huge responsibility. I've been spending the last years working on platform work, and finally we could say that the European institutions have taken a kind of bold and courageous stance when it comes to improving working conditions in the sector, which is precisely the rubric of the recently approved directive in this field. Roughly speaking, the key center of contentiousness was precisely the appropriate classification of platform workers. As also confirmed by the documents drafted by the Commission, many workers in these sectors are improperly classified as self-employed, while they continue being exposed to a rather robust power that we consider something as the manifestation of employer prerogatives. At the same time, the introduction of a rebuttable presumption of employment is an important solution that has been designed at the European level. Of course, the European level is a complex political institution that must accommodate the different legal tradition and backgrounds. So, all in all, the key purpose of the introduction of a presumption of employment is to facilitate the vindication of rights before a court for platform workers. This means that the concrete condition of platform workers are not gonna change overnight thanks to the introduction of this presumption. In the directive, there's also an important and positive sign, which is precisely the introduction of an entire chapter on algorithmic management. And this is perhaps something that could be learned, capitalizing on the experience of platform work, precisely because the challenges exposed in the sector are now much broader, have been spreading throughout the labor market. So in order to keep pace with this phenomenon of platformization of the entire labor market, perhaps addressing working conditions more directly by starting with an emphasis on the role of technology at work is something that could be considered also in Brazil. And in particular, I would say that the introduction of a presumption of employment, but the important initiatives that have been taken across all countries in Europe is just the beginning of the story, not the end. Once we have fixed the inappropriate classification, we should start wondering what are the legal solutions that we are expected to devise to improve working conditions for all non-standard workers. Platform workers are a small yet important portion of this broader phenomenon that is growing and needs important global and local responses.
Exactly. Maybe platform workers are a kind of symbol today, but exactly. There are a lot of to debate and to think about non-standard employment relationships. So thank you for this great conversation. I think we have a lot to think about the regulation, about the labor law here in Brazil, and it's always great to hear a different opinion, a different perspective. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks a lot, Olivia. Let me say that the experience here has been fantastic, and I look forward to continuing collaborating with you and with the other colleagues here at the Foundation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.